Foundation annual meeting. We're thrilled to have so many here. I've got to say thanks, City Fredonia, for letting us use this space. It's a fantastic space, and we're grateful to have it. So I am going to turn the microphone over to our President, Rachel Foley, for her to get us started.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate you being here for our 40th annual meeting. The first thing we would like to do is a pledge of allegiance to the flag. So if you could all stand and we'll start that. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So I would like to recognize a couple special guests that we have here with us this afternoon. We have two previous Footprint Award individuals who are here in the audience with us today. The first one is Mr. Dan Reniga, who is sitting over in the corner here. And then we also have Steve and Mary Reese, who are sitting over there. So we thank you both for being here today. We also have several previous board members with us today. The first one is, again, Dan Reniga, who is a prior board member and very involved with the organization. We also have with us Roseanne Falcone. I'm not sure, there she is. Hello, thank you. Nancy Adams-Fry is here, I think. Okay, she may be coming. Jeff Passafaro, I did see Jeff, he's over on the right-hand side. Hi, Jeff. Gina Paradis and Lou De Palma. Lou is over here on my left. Gina? Okay. So thank you. We're honored to have you here. As you all know, or as you may know, Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation has a simple vision. We are a vibrant, prosperous community today and tomorrow, and we work with very generous people who want to make a difference, and we also work with organizations that are working to improve our communities. Our theme for this year's meeting is Placing Pieces with Purpose, because that's what we do best. Every successful endeavor starts with pieces. One person has an idea, another has a resource to help, a nonprofit has the experience to make it happen, volunteers give their time, businesses contribute equipment or expertise, grants help fill the gaps, and individually, each of those pieces is valuable, but when they're brought together in the right way, they become something much greater. And that's the role of our community foundation. We bring people, ideas, resources, and opportunities together to help good things happen across Northern Chautauqua County. We don't create every project or lead every effort, but we're proud to help connect the pieces that make those projects possible. And none of that happens without people who care about this community. The program that you have in front of you and the screen up above lists all those who serve as board and voted members and those who serve on various committees. We appreciate your time, thoughtful guidance, commitment, and those are what make this organization successful. I would like that all board members please stand. All committee members and voted members please stand. And I want to thank each of you individually and collectively for your service and your commitment to our foundation. We appreciate all that you do for us, so thank you. Furthermore, the foundation staff is a critical component to our success. Diane Hannum, our executive director, and her team is essential to help us accomplish our goals and strategies. So I'd like to have the staff stand. Eileen Ardillo, who's our program coordinator. Than Clark, who's our community impact assistant. Jeannie Galloway, if she's here, she's one of our newest members. We have added her position as part of our coordination with the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation, and she is a rural philanthropy fellow, and we're very excited to have her on board, so please welcome her before the evening's over. We also want to thank Patty Hammond, our LED coordinator, Sarah Marsowitz, who's our accountant, and that's my favorite position, as that's what I do, and Leslie Willis, our community engagement coordinator. Thank you. So please get back. Lastly, I'd like to give a special acknowledgement to our retiring committee members. Jennifer Cameron and Tony Falcone are retiring from the investment committee after serving 9 years or 3 terms. So if Jennifer and Tony are here, please stand so we can acknowledge their contributions. I've worked with both of them on the investment committee for several years, and they've both been major participants in that committee, and we will miss them. Also, Mary Jane DePietro is retiring from the Service Learning Committee, and Monica Simpson is retiring from the Nominating Committee, both having served for 9 years. So if they're here, please stand so we can acknowledge their contributions. All right, that's all I have for now. I'm going to turn it over to Jessica, who's going to make her report.
Bear with me, I'm new here. So I have to read out the proof of meeting notice. The bylaws require that notice of the annual meeting is mailed out between 10 and 20 days prior to the meeting date. Diane Hannum has certified that the official notice of this meeting was mailed to all voting members on June 19th, 2026. Certification of quorum. The Community Foundation has 56 voting members, and according to the bylaws, a quorum is established when we have 25% of the voting members present. I certify that there are at least 14 members in attendance. Do we have our record? Good. All right. And then the meeting minutes approval. The minutes of the 2025 annual meeting were mailed to all members with the official meeting notice. Are there any questions or corrections?
I was present. I don't count it. So we have one more member.
Okay.
You did that?
No. Thank you. Thanks for letting us know.
Wait, that was here. I was reading the minutes.
Anyone else? All right. Do I have a motion to approve the 2025 annual meeting minutes? And a second?
Second.
All right. All in approval?
Aye.
Okay. All right. And it says that Monica Simpson is next with the report of the nominating committee.
Thank you, Jessica. My name is Monica Simpson. I'm the Partner Engagement Coordinator with the Chautauqua County Partnership for Economic Growth. And I want to say that this year's theme, Placing Pieces with Purpose, captures what our partnership and our placemaking efforts, what we're doing to help people find where they belong and how they contribute. As we work to attract new residents to the county, we want to make sure they weave into the fabric of the county through meaningful connections. And one of those connections I usually make is Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation. Just like I did when I moved here 11 years ago. And I must say, I think it should be graduating, not retiring, because you've retired me twice already. So I'm not that old. All right, so this year's nominating committee included myself, in addition to Nate Aldrich, Rachel Foley, John Hamels, and Jessica Ross. the NCCF's success depends on faithfully reflecting the diversity of our Northern Chautauqua community within its board of directors and voting membership. In our discussions, we considered a range of factors, including race, ethnicity, gender, geography, and lived experience, alongside the skills and expertise needed to support, guide, and govern the foundation effectively. First for your consideration is the election for board membership. This committee is proposing the re-election of Josiah Lamb for his second 5-year term and election of Jill Casey and Kitty Lyons for a 5-year term. Are there any nominations from the floor for board membership? Is that long enough? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the slate of board membership? Okay, great. And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Okay.
Excuse me, did you make the first motion?
Sue Poster. Okay, next is the election of our voting members. Recommended for re-election for a 3-year term is Jeff Passafero. Recommendation for election for each of the 3-year terms is Melissa Bainey, Tracy Bennett, Brittany Siri Allen, Kaylee Fesser, Lisa Forbes, Mark Forbes, Darcy Furness, Molly Harvey, Eric Hoffenstein, I should have practiced this before, Ida Lord, Jay Patel, Michelle Patterson, Brian Pender, Ben Ross, Stacy Scholl, and Beverly Sutton. May I have a motion to approve the slate of nominees for voting membership?
Can you take questions first, please?
Oh, that wasn't on there. Anybody have questions?
I do, not questions, a comment. There are 2 names that aren't on your list,
Okay,
and that is Rick Bergstrom and Tina Vesher.
okay. As you can see.
Yep. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the slate of nominees for voting membership? Okay,
Second.
we have Rick Ketchum and Steve Reese. Thank you. Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Abstaining? All right. Am I done now? What do I have to do next? It just says my name on the next slide. Okay. All right, appointment of the nominating committee. So I'm off this one because of course I'm retired. Nate Aldrich for the coming year, Julie Putcher, Dave Rowley, Jessica Ross, and Cassie Simpson. Okay, so we're gonna vote on that. May I have a motion to approve the slate of nominees for the nominating committee? Okay, from Josiah, I know his name because he's my boss, so we have that one. All right, may I have a second? Thank you, again? Sue Poster. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstaining? All right, now I'm good. Thank you.
I don't know why remotes have so many buttons on that do you ever use them? They're just there to confuse. So I'd like to talk very briefly about the NCCF's finances, particularly for 2025. I have these words up here: transparency, stewardship, due diligence, long-term growth, because those are the things we take into account. Those are the things that we value when we work with our investment portfolio. I also put CFNS Accreditation Foundation. That designates or shows you that we are a nationally accredited community foundation. That means that we have shown ourselves to be transparent, accountable, that we have integrity, that we value equity, engagement, and that's something that it really is a big deal. A lot of work goes into that, and it's not just saying, checking a box, yes, we do that. We have to prove, we have to show how we practice whatever the standard is. So again, I wanted to put those words up there to show you what we focus on. So our assets between 2024 and 2025 went up about $5.1 million or 12.12%. And somewhere I have the value that was this morning. Sarah, you probably don't know it by heart, but I think I have it pretty close. This morning we were over $51 million. Those are the numbers we like to see, and it really is because of our due diligence, because we have a strong investment and spending policy that we follow that allows us to just keep growing and growing. Here's the number, $51,546,457. I'm excited. In 2025, in contributions, we received just over $2.2 million. And what you may not realize is that we get contributions, I think was the smallest 10, Fan, or 15?
$10.
Was a $10 contribution up to, a couple $100,000. So there's that vast range of contributions that we receive, and we received over 1,100 individual separate contributions. Our grants were almost 1.9 million. Total grants 643. That would include scholarships, grants from agency endowments, discretionary grants, anything that goes out in that form. We're always interested in what our investment performance is. And as I said, we have a investment and spending policy that we adhere to and that we are able to meet our goals because of that. So in 2025, our returns were 13.7, which gives us the 10-year annualized of 9.3. And those are the numbers we're interested in, the 7-year, the 10-year, because that's what allows us to continue to make grants, to address inflation, and keep up with admin costs. So we're happy with that. And those returns are net fees. Any questions on any of that? Okay. Another one of the responsibilities of voting members is to either appoint or approve the auditor for each year. We have entered into a 5-year agreement with JMA in Fredonia, and so we would like, recommending the voting membership approve a continuation of that, which would be year 2 of a 5-year agreement. So could I have a motion to approve that? Confirm. Confirm. Thank you. That was Ken, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And a second? That was Ellen. Okay. Ellen. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Anybody opposed? Thank you very much. I guess I get to keep talking a little bit longer. Placing pieces with purpose. You've probably seen some of the earlier slides. We had puzzle pieces. I don't know who at the office started bringing in puzzles. I don't know, but we started doing puzzles over the winter, so we had this, image of how pieces go together and what you come up with at the end, something desirable, right? So I want to give you 2 examples of placing pieces with purpose. Here is the first one. Late last year, as I'm sure most of you were aware, SNAP benefits were unexpectedly delayed. Families and seniors who depended on those benefits had to suddenly turn to local food pantries who were already struggling. The need was immediate, and food pantries were already, as I said, struggling. In fact, one pantry director told me, "I've never seen anything like this before." And this was before the SNAP pause. She also said that requests for holiday food baskets had already doubled. And this was at the beginning of November. So you can see we were already in a difficult situation. The question we had wasn't whether help was needed. We knew help was needed. It was how to respond quickly enough to make a difference. So that's when our role became clear. We started looking at the pieces out there and what we could do to pull them together. The first piece was receiving the information. The second piece I have down as CRCF, Chautauqua Region Community Foundation, but it could be any of our partners. We were able to share information, what was going on in the region, what was going on in the state. Together we developed kind of a methodology on which pantries would receive, which would participate into how much, and then we divided the work. Another piece was, of course, the local food banks. We work with, there are so many food banks, it's too bad we need so many, but we had 15 food banks that we worked with, and they, in Chautauqua region, probably had another 15. These organizations are almost entirely run by volunteers, and they knew exactly what the needs were and could get food into the hands of the families immediately. Feed More Western New York is also a partner. They're also a piece of the puzzle. They're a food distribution center that serves all of Western New York, and they're able to get kind of the staples at a low cost to the pantries. Within our own organization, of course, a very important piece was our board of directors and executive committee, and that they acted quickly. They recognized that waiting for the next board meeting simply wasn't an option. And finally, and you'll hear Leslie and Dan talking about this a little later, our community funds were a big piece of putting this puzzle together. Generous donors have created these unrestricted funds because they believe some community needs can't be predicted. And we want to be able to address things that are not predicted, and we want to be able to do it swiftly. So when all these pieces were put together with purpose, the result was about $53,000. We distributed $21,000 to local food pantries and $32,000 to Feed More. So when all these pieces were placed with purpose, families received food when they needed it most. And this is what community foundations do. We connect people, partners, and resources so that when challenges arise, our communities are ready to respond. So I've got another example. The next example is much more positive. It's too bad we can't say that we put the puzzles pieces together and there is no longer hunger in our community, but that is not the case. So the next one is more fun. It's not about responding to a crisis. It's about helping a great idea become a reality. So we had some local educators, 3 women, went up to Letchworth State Park and visited ANT, which is the Autism Nature Trail. I believe I've got that right. They worked in special ed. They thought it was fantastic. Why can't we have one closer to home? The great idea is a good first piece, but by itself doesn't build a trail. They needed a community partner, so they connected with Revitalize Dunkirk. They served not only as a fiscal sponsor, but as a source for ideas and volunteers. The next piece was the City of Dunkirk and the DEC. They needed permission to put the trail Point Gratiot and where they wanted to, and it's property that's right between the city and the DEC property. I don't think any's on the DEC property though, is it?
No.
It's not.
That was a quick answer. And of course, the project needed funding. The NCCF awarded 2 grants, totaling over $20,000, I think. Volunteers, another piece, came immediately. I think without even asking or organizing, people were out at the trail, looking, pulling stuff away. Kurt Warmbrod had his chainsaw, right, Mary Beth? So that was volunteers. Back office support is something the foundation could provide to the group, whether it's meeting in our office, using our copier, using the Zoom technology, and so on. So we were happy to be a part of that. One thing that helped, at least I think, move things along, I could say quicker, Mary might not agree quicker, is working with Kaboom. With the foundation's work with the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, they have a partnership with Kaboom, who does playgrounds wherein communities get together, design the playground, and build a playground, all within a week. So, revitalized Dunkirk, connected with Kaboom. Kaboom had never done a trail like this before, a nature trail, but they decided to go ahead, and everybody was very patient working with them and teaching them what a trail could be, and it came to fruition with droves of volunteers. Do you know how many volunteers you had on the day? Hundreds? Yeah. So this is a much nicer picture of what came as a, well, first, here's the before picture. And that beautiful picture of all the kids holding the ribbon, volunteers, young people. I know Kravitz, they were there for quite a bit of the time, and you will see in the upper, as you're looking at it, right, not quite the corner, you see a picture of one of the leaders, Mary Beth Muldowney, and she is with Mary Wilson, because Mary Wilson was a supporter of Kaboom. Obviously, she works with the Wilson Foundation, and she and Mary Beth became buddies. She came down on the Thursday and worked all day, right? So, what experience. So I think next, I wanted to acknowledge the staff as well, pieces of the puzzle. Jeannie, Sarah, Eileen, Fan, Patty, and Leslie. Michelle, couldn't find a picture of you. Michelle Starwell Woods retired as our scholarship coordinator in January. So, again, I'm grateful for all they do, their flexibility, their smarts, and their love of the community. I say all the time, I work with the nicest people in the world. So, anyway. So now, I believe Fan Clark, who works with Community Impact Investment, is going to come tell his story. Or not.
On my way down, so if anybody who was here last year remembers, I had 6 minutes to do my report, and anyone who's worked for a large organization knows, if you do something efficiently, the next year they cut your budget. So this year I have 4 minutes. So first slide I have is capacity building. And so folks who, if you work for a nonprofit, hopefully you have interacted with our capacity lab. If you haven't, I strongly encourage you to reach out and work with us, because we are very proud of the work that we do. So proud, in fact, that the Ralph Wilson Foundation, which you have heard a little bit about today, invited us to present as their first featured case study info session. We did a little presentation for the cohort of fellows to talk about that as a case study in collaboration between funders, and so this is the first thing I have up here, because building nonprofit capacity, I think, is a very important part of how we're impacting community in northern Chautauqua, but it's also been a lesson that we're carrying forward into other communities as to how, through collaboration, through relationships, we can not only do things more efficiently, but also improve our impact and do more with what we have, but also just do more. It's not about saving money. It's about letting our nonprofits be more impactful, do more in their communities, because that's, at the end of the day, what we're raising this money for. It's what we're going out into this communities to do. And so we're really proud that not only is that work being recognized here at home, but also being celebrated and shared with other communities across Western New York and Southeast Michigan. So I have a couple slides up there from that presentation, just about some of our focuses at Capacity Lab, which is just that we are consistent in our strategy, but very flexible in our tactics. So it's about meeting our community's needs in a very dynamic way, because we know that so I've only been here a few years, but Capacity Lab has been in our community since 2018. And if you've been in our community since 2018, you've seen the needs evolve. And so just like the Community Foundation can adapt to the needs in our community, the Capacity Lab and our capacity building work has evolved to meet those needs. So I threw up here just a couple examples of some of our little wins in 2025. We've launched this is not the public version, but we are in the private phase 1 of a supervisor training program. What we've done, a shared space convening. We're building on our library work. We're really excited about that because we're really hopeful that there will be something there. But with a lot of our work, and I think this is one of the benefits of endowment, it takes time to build relationships. It takes time to build capacity strategically. So in the bottom here, we always, once again, shouting out Wilson Foundation because they're a tremendous partner in our capacity building work. So that's not the only partnership I wanted to shout out. Last year, I really focused on our local economic development because it remains a key part of how we make impact in the community. Up here, I have, of course, our Chautauqua County Partnership for Economic Growth. They are one of our key partners, and by key partner, I mean our largest discretionary grant. Local economic development is a key focus of this foundation and a key focus of my work as community impact assistant. And it's work that we've been recognized for. So my theme when we were talking about our slides was that the way we expand our impact is through partnerships. So it isn't partnerships or community impact. It's that the way we make community impact is through our partnerships. And so in 2025, the Community Foundation actually received the SUNY Fredonia School of Business Best in Business Industry Partner Award for our work with industry partners and benefiting local economic development. We also up here, I know we have our friends from WDOE in the audience, and so I put up here our New York State SBA for their coverage of our Today to Tomorrow Together campaign. That was highlighted as their work covering the campaign as an example of their service to the community. And so just lifting up that without our partners, the impact that we make would be so much lessened. The role of the Community Foundation is in part to work with our partners to amplify their work, and they amplify our work in a very dynamic way. And so finally, for my third slide, once again, through our partners, I also have a long-running partnership, and one that I featured on my slide last year, but that we really really has borne fruit. We don't have Sylvester here, I would really shout him out, but the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Fredonia, they gave us the award for community partnership for our long-standing partnership with the MLK Presidential Commission. Down here, I had so many more pictures, but we had so few slides. But this is some of the art that was featured for their Presidential Commission's art contest. And so they had students come together to do art on the theme of change and how they've been inspired by Martin Luther King. And we also have the Ladders to the Outdoors program. We worked with that program, which is also a partner of the Wilson Foundation, to bring them down to Dunkirk, to have some conversations with students locally on how we can get students in our communities more connected with the outdoors, with New York State parks. And finally, up in the left corner, that is from the halfway mark of the Wilson Foundation, where they brought together all of their partners. That's actually where we met the folks at Ladders to the Outdoors. And so just, again, to bring home that theme of it is through our partnerships, it's through connecting, it's through engaging, that we're able to do these things, to take these steps that ultimately bear fruit in folks in our community having access to programs that they may not otherwise have access to build relationships with folks that open doors that may not otherwise be open to folks in our community. So that is my last slide. I didn't time myself this year, but the last part of my slide is, of course, to introduce our newest colleague, which is Jeannie Galloway, our Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Rural Philanthropy Fellow, and so it is my tremendous pleasure to introduce Jeannie.
I'm not going to talk that much. No. So as Dan said, I am part of a learning cohort through the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation and a small partnership as well with the Herrick Foundation in Michigan. Through that cohort, I get to work with some amazing people from New York State to Michigan. We have mentors that are working in the field, retired from the field, and have just been really good people to learn from, as well as learning from each other. And the picture is actually all of the supervisors and all of the fellows together when we met in Lakewood, and I wanted to just highlight Dan and Diane because look how cute they are. I also wanted to point out as part of the cohort, we have a tremendous opportunity to learn from each other from New York down to Michigan, best practices, things that are going well, things that aren't, being able to take ideas from all over the place and put them into practice in a very safe and creative way within our own foundations. So it's just been a really great opportunity and a wonderful start to a new career. I've had the opportunity to focus on a lot of different areas. I'm considered a generalist fellow for our cohorts, which means I get to do a lot of different things. Some people are communications, some people are specifically marketing or development. I get to do a little bit of everything. And for those of you who know me in this room, you know that youth development is my bread and butter, and I wasn't going to have this job and not interact with youth. So I had the wonderful opportunity to work with some of our re-granting dollars through the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation. Basically, the money is there for us to teach people in our community about philanthropy, whether that's youth or other organizations who are doing good work, or just people who we haven't tapped into. Again, I really voiced that I wanted to work with youth, so I had the opportunity to work with the Casadega Key Club and the YWCA in Westfield Girls Leadership Initiative. We have Stephanie Stevens in the back. Say hi, Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. She graciously allowed us and Leslie and I to talk to her girls about philanthropy and about how they could be helping their community. We took them through a workshop, basically how we would go through our regular grants decisions. We had them talk about the needs that they see in their community and also ways that they could see solving them, whether that's through partnerships or their own creative ideas or who are the helpers in their community. And I think when you talk to youth, they're not afraid to talk back. They all had opinions, they all had ideas, they all had people who they really saw as the leaders in their community. The bottom left-hand corner was from the GLI program that we did, and it was just a couple up there, but across the board for Westfield and Casadega, we really saw mental health needs, we saw food insecurity, we saw substance abuse. But most importantly, both commented on connection for youth, so having safe spaces to go, whether that's after school or in the summer where not a lot expected out of them. So it's not going to a sport, it's not going to a club, it's just somewhere where they can be together. Through these initiatives, money was granted out for our Casadega folks. They chose to do 2 grants within their community, which is their school, which I know was not the intended purpose, but again, when you talk to youth, they told us what they needed, and they wanted to invest in their local clubs that were solving the problems that they saw the needs for. It also went out to Park Church, again, for their youth development program and all of the work that they're doing for the youth in their community. And then for Westfield, they chose to honor the Parks and Rec Department, but specifically the Welch Field, because they run a tremendous summer program for the youth. But my biggest takeaway from it was, if you ask them, they're going to tell you, and I think that we need to be doing this work with more people and more kids in our community to get them introduced to how much power they really have and what philanthropy is and how it can benefit everybody. So that is what I have. Next up is going to be Leslie, I believe, for our campaign.
First of all, thank you everyone for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to be in this room and be surrounded by so many people who share our vision for the community and who are actively working for the good of our community. I always leave here with a full cup, so thank you for being here. Before we talk about the campaign and where it stands, in the spirit of the campaign and the impact it's having on our community, we thought we'd do something a little fun and give you all the opportunity to give a grant to the organization of your choice. So you see these little guys here that are part of the logo. When you sat down today, if you found one of those on your chair, raise your hand. Rick? Stephanie's got one? Anyone else? Adam? Okay. Josiah? Okay. There's one more. If anybody finds it, let me know. You each have won a $100 Be a Philanthropist grant to give to the local organization of your choice that's serving Northern Chautauqua. So. And if you didn't find one, there is still another opportunity for you to win a grant for the organization of your choice. There's a box out in the lobby here. You'll see it during the reception. Please fill out one of those slips, put it in the box, and we will randomly be drawing someone at the end today to give a grant to the organization of their choice. So before we talk about where the campaign stands, I just want to sincerely thank every person who's been a part of this journey. That includes our donors, our campaign committee, volunteers, board members, nonprofit partners, staff, and everyone who has helped to tell this story. This campaign has been successful because of you, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. So 4.5 years ago, we set out with an ambitious goal. Our goal was not only to raise $10 million in 5 years, but to build the resources that will serve Northern Chautauqua forever. Today, thanks to the generosity of this community and beyond, we've reached 84% of that goal. What I find truly remarkable is that the vast majority of the $8.4 million raised during this campaign so far has come from local families and individuals who share our vision for Northern Chautauqua. I think that's absolutely remarkable. We have received some large contributions from businesses, from banks, but the vast majority of that number you see there came from individuals like yourselves, including some of you in this room. So thank you for that. Through the Today, Tomorrow, Together campaign, we welcomed 36 new community funds. You heard Diane mention those funds earlier. Those are the funds that allow us to address the needs of the community, whatever they are, as they arise, even if we can't foresee those needs. We have also welcomed 17 new members to our Bequest Society. The Bequest Society is individuals who have made plans for the foundation in their estate plans. And we are so grateful for their foresight and their generosity. We've engaged new donors. We've shared the important work that NCCF is doing, and possibly most importantly, we've expanded the circle of people that are investing in our community. While we've accomplished so much, there's still important work ahead. Like a puzzle, a stronger community is built one piece at a time. Each gift, each fund, and each conversation. Together, they create something bigger than any of us could alone. Through the power of collective philanthropy and partnerships with community members and organizations, NCCF has invested $25 million in Northern Chautauqua since its inception. And that number continues to grow. We're able to increase our impact year over year thanks to the generosity of our donors and the work of our volunteers who make up our board and committees. As we enter the final 6 months of this campaign, now is the time for action. Whether you're making your first gift to the foundation, establishing a community fund, joining the Bequest Society, making a connection, or simply helping to tell our story, there is a place for you in this campaign. Whether you've already participated or you're considering how you'd like to become involved, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This campaign has always belonged to the community. Now the numbers tell us how far we've come, but they don't really tell us why this work matters. And for that, I would like to invite our campaign chair, Dan Reiniga, to share a few thoughts.
Thank you, Leslie. I'm old at this, so bear with me. All right, so again, I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here this afternoon and also for your commitment to the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation and specifically the Community Fund that creates a broader benefit across many, many organizations and will be available into perpetuity. So I've learned that strong communities don't happen by accident, they're built. They're built by one act of generosity at a time, one family, one business, one conversation, one gift, and one not-for-profit. That's why the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation is so important. A community foundation is one of the few organizations created not simply to solve today's challenges, but to ensure that every generation has the resources to solve the challenges of its own time. That's critical, of its own time. 40 years ago, nobody had any idea what would be supporting today, what the need would be today. So, and the truth is, none of us know what Northern Chautauqua County needs will be 25 years, 50 years, or 100 years from now. Some of us might have some newborn grandchildren, they might know what that need is 100 years from now. We're going to live a little bit longer. So, we can make certain that a community foundation will have the resources to respond. That is a remarkable power of an endowment of the community fund. Most charitable gifts accomplish something wonderful once. A community fund continues accomplishing something wonderful forever, year after year, generation after generation. It provides flexibility when unexpected needs arise. It gives nonprofits, organizations, and the like the confidence to dream bigger. It allows community leaders to respond when opportunities appear. I think that's critical when you look at the sustainability of the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation. It also ensures that people who come after us inherit more than our memories. They inherit resources to build an even stronger community. So when somebody contributes to the community fund, they're doing much more than making a donation. They're expressing confidence in Northern Chautauqua County, confidence in the people who will lead this community well after we're gone. Confidence and generosity can change lives, not only today, but for decades to come. For every one of us, we will leave something behind, perhaps memories, perhaps traditions, perhaps values that our children and grandchildren will carry forward. A community fund allows us to leave something even more enduring, a permanent investment in the place we love. I often think about people connected by a single charitable gift, a donor who gives today, a volunteer who serves 10 years from now, a nonprofit that receives a grant 20 years from now, a child whose life is changed by someone they will never meet. It's amazing when you look at the benefits from a community fund. That's the enduring strength, again, of a community foundation. And that brings me to the theme that we've come across many, many times, today, tomorrow, together. And I'm going to put a tagline on that. Today, tomorrow, together, and for generations to come. That's what it's all about. Sustainability, using the income from the funds that are donated, the 51+ million that's in the bank, did I say that right? It's somewhere around there. And living off the income from that is wonderful. And that will always be sustaining to our community. Can you imagine when that 20 years from now, when it's $100 million, which is likely based on investment returns and growth and continued contributions. So again, today, tomorrow, for generations. Today we make the decision to invest. Tomorrow our community benefits from that decision. Together we accomplish far more than any one of us ever could alone. And for generations, those gifts continue creating opportunity, inspiring hope, and changing lives forever. That is our legacy. So with the final months, they're here. I invite you to become part of that legacy. There's a variety of different ways that have already been reviewed. Part of that is a named fund that you can create for your family. You can also name it for an organization, but we're looking for the community benefit fund. Those named funds, you get the tag for $3,500, $700 a year for 5 years, and you can have that as a legacy for your family, and the family can contribute to it. And of course, the earnings from that will continue to be put back in the community. And by the way, that $3,500 will grow based on the investment returns as well. So it's a great opportunity to leave a legacy for the community with your family name on it. So long after our names are forgotten, the lives touched by our generosity will continue, because 100 years from now, people may not remember the amount of our gifts, but they will live in the community those gifts helped to build. So together we're doing far more than completing a campaign. And again, we're about 1.6 away from completion, so anything we can do to help, that would be great. So today, tomorrow, together, for generations. And a final thought is, 100 years from now, people may not remember the amount of our gifts, but they will live in the community that those gifts helped to build. So thank you to the team, the fundraising team, the Community Foundation board, all those volunteers, and the leadership. You've done a great job, and I appreciate everything you've done. Bless you. Thank you.
Dan, before you go back to your seat, I just want to thank you also for everything you've done for this campaign. You've been incredible. We are so fortunate to have you as the chair of our campaign.
Sorry, I'm going to steal this again. Takes a team, and she's leading the team along with Diane. So, and we've got a few of the volunteers. If you're on the campaign committee, please stand so you can be recognized. I know Rick Ketchum's here. There we go. Thank you, Rick. Awesome. And thank you, Leslie. Thank you very much. And Leslie's got a little announcement she wants to make. Is it time for me to say that? Okay.
I do.
I got one other.
He's got one more thing.
One other piece of advice. So my father, always taught me some great things in life. And because the 4th of July is coming, he always said, if you drink a fifth on the 4th, you won't come forth on the 5th. So remember.
Thank you. Okay, we do have a really special announcement today. I'm so excited to share this with you. We talked about how there is no better time to get involved in this campaign. We talked about how our focus is on the community funds and why, and so we're going to give you a little more incentive to do that. So thanks to an anonymous donor, we have $100,000 available to match new community funds. So what that means is now through the end of the campaign, when you start a new community fund, your gift will be matched by an anonymous donor. And what does that mean? It means that your impact will be doubled. The impact of your gift in our community will be doubled. So please, I encourage you, if you haven't joined the campaign yet, take advantage of this. Share this news with a friend. We're going to be sharing it very widely. We are so incredibly grateful to this donor for creating this opportunity. So thank you.
Yep, this concludes the business part of the meeting. I suppose we need a motion to adjourn the business part? Steve, who was it? Second? Monica? All in favor? Aye. Okay, so now we get to come to the fun part, which is the presentation of the George B. Weaver Jr. Footprints Award. And Leslie, I'm giving it right back to you.
Are you all sick of my voice yet?
No!
Thank you. All right, so this is the fun part. We get to talk about all of the good work that's being done in our community, in particular by some specific folks. The George B. Weaver Jr. Footprints Award was created to recognize individuals in our community who are creating those footprints for others to follow, who are leading by example through their philanthropy and through their service to our community. And I'm going to go ahead and show you a video that we had created for this year's winners. Bear with me just a moment. Sorry, just a moment. Give me just a moment, folks. I'm sorry. Yeah, get in there, Monica. Here we are. Genuine, authentic, caring.
Very positive, gracious, persistent. Always gonna find an attitude, always gonna be.
I would say they're truly kind, very humble, and incredibly dedicated to Westfield.
Because we all recognize they really embody the spirit of volunteerism, I think they encourage us. I'm willing to take things on, Marilyn will too. They inspire people through a certain magic that they have. You look at what they do and you think, oh my gosh, Westfield's a better place because of all they do. What should I be doing?
They have tireless energy for the community. They give from the heart. They're good, honest people. And people should aspire to do the things that they do for this community.
It's just inspiring to know that they've done it for a long time and they still have the energy to keep going.
If you walk around or drive around our village, you might see John and Marilyn out in front of Village Hall pulling weeds or planting tulip bulbs. Or you might see them hanging wreaths on the fence along the village park. They do things quietly, without a lot of fanfare, but they make a big difference that way.
They've been a positive presence in their community for many, many years, whether it be through work through the local Chamber of Commerce, through healthcare at the hospital, or at their church. They are willing to do what they can to help make Westfield a better place to work and play and get healthcare.
People that are involved in those organizations, whether they realize it or not, I think they're following John and Marilyn's footsteps. They're doing things like John and Marilyn would, and again, for the betterment of the community.
I feel the amount of volunteerism that they've done over the years. They never say no when asked to do something.
I have friends in surrounding villages, and they'll say to me, wow, Westfield's really hot. Or, oh, Westfield is so beautiful at Christmas time. And I assure them that it takes many individuals to do that. But I know that central to the beautification of Westfield are John and Marilyn Hammond.
They've made tons and tons and tons of contributions, but I think the biggest contributions they have made is making it apparent to people in Westfield that becoming a vital part of the community yourself and doing things that need to be done is vital if a community is going to grow.
We'll call them the spark plugs of the community, you know, that just is able to be that person that makes people feel that they can. And I think that's a really special asset that both of them have.
Their biggest philanthropy is their time and their energy. And it is a fundamental building block of the success against all odds the small community has had. The events that they're involved with draw a tremendous number of people to the downtown. First Friday, Christmas in Westfield, and it draws a lot of people in from out of the community, so outside dollars are coming into the community. And then there's follow through on that because people come here, they spend money, they have a good time, and they come back.
Whether we're talking about Beacons Point or Westfield, Finley Lake, all these small communities, the thing that really makes them all special and actually makes them survive is the people that are there that have a sense of community, and Marilyn and John are really a big part of that glue that makes the sense of community happen here in Westfield.
One thing we've done at Lakeshore Center for the Arts is we really started to look into the past and try to find things that would, and we find going back 100 years that there are always this certain group of people that did everything 100 years ago. And I think 100 years from now, when you go into it, it's going to be the Hammers. They're the good ones. They're as good as they come. And if you say differently, you don't know. They are wonderful, caregiving, time-giving lovers of mankind, and it's all for real.
I hope that their legacy is that others step up and see it can be done. It's not as overwhelming as it might seem. And that it does make our little village a better place to live.
I think that John and Marilyn most certainly are deserving of this recognition. I can't think of anybody else in the community that's more deserving than they are. Again, they do it quietly, without flash and fanfare, and they certainly don't expect recognition. They get the intrinsic reward from seeing the crowds on First Friday or the crowds in Easton Hall on Christmas for Westfield, and the success that the community's had with these events. That's where they get their reward. Well, just on our behalf is we're longtime residents and business people and just members of the community. We just can't say thank you enough. And it's great that you guys are doing this.
I'd like to introduce to you Rick Mascaro and Sue Poster and Joan Caruso. You may recognize a couple of them from the video we just saw. And I'm going to hand this over to them to present the award to John and Marilyn.
I'd just like to point out on the back of the flyer we received today, I'll use my teacher voice, that it says, like our community, NCCF is shaped by many parts working together, each a vital piece in the larger puzzle of our region. Yes, there are many pieces which go together, but those of us who do jigsaw puzzles know that those corner pieces and the pieces that go along the bottom, the sides, and the top to pull it all together are very important. And John and Marilyn are those kinds of pieces. They bring all of us together to accomplish what we need to accomplish in our communities. And we in Westfield and at Lakeshore Center for the Arts are so proud to call them members of our group and members of our community. Congratulations, John and Marilyn. Marilyn and John would like to say a few words. Wait a minute, I'm sorry.
2026 George B. Weaver Footprints Award signed by Andrew M. Molitor, New York State Assembly. Wow, I'm gonna guess this one's Andrew. This is a New York State Assembly citation for John Hemmer, the 2026 J.B. Weaver Jr. Footprints Award, and that's also signed by Andy Molitor. Anyone else? Tell me, this one is the Footprints Award.
This is the actual thing.
How do I follow this? I really don't know what to say, so let's just get started. First of all, I wrote some notes, because there's no telling what I might come up with if I'm left on my own. First of all, I want to thank the foundation for the fine work that they do in the community. It benefits us all. Westfield has been the beneficiary of many wonderful things from the foundation. Diane and company, thank you so much. I don't know what to say about Sue, Rick, and Joni. I can't believe that you did this to me again. But I love you anyways. Thank you. It's a pleasure to work with you. It truly is. I want to talk just for a second, as long as they told me I could stay here forever. You asked why sometimes, and people say, why do you do the things you do and how come you don't say no? And I blame that on my parents and John's parents as well, because they taught us a great work ethic. They taught us about generosity, honesty, the value of community service. Look at these notes. And they took us to church every Sunday. And they said, this is simply what you do. And anybody who knows said you don't mess with Judge Ken Hemmer. You just do what he tells you to do. So to my families here, God bless you. Coming all the way from Texas, thank you for sharing this day with us. You don't know what you mean to us, you do. I don't know what to say. In Westfield, I think that we have learned the value of working together to promote the good, and knowing that one hand helps the other. And from civic organizations to the churches, to the library, the hospital, the school, downtown Main Street, we all work together, and it's been a process. But I can tell you that I almost never get a no. Sure, I'll help you. Sure, I'll do that. And believe me, that makes things easier. And to those folks that that I've worked with, my coworkers, comrades, partners in crime, you are truly my hero. You really are. I could not do a thing without you. And it's just wonderful. It's been an absolute pleasure. And it makes it easy to give back to a community who has given so much to us. And I think we certainly feel that way. It's been a wonderful place to raise our children and in which to live. Okay, we're almost done. We thank our sons, Brett and Michael, who are with us, who came from so far away. It was kind of a surprise. God bless you both. We love you, we're proud of you, and you are our finest accomplishment. You truly are. And keeping with the in the spirit of our 250-year celebration for the United States of America. So we are grateful to live in a country that gives us the freedom to do these kinds of things, and to not say no, or that's not proper or whatever. But we are so fortunate. We have no idea, and I think we're learning how fortunate we are. But last and surely not least, we would both be remiss, because we are strong in our faith. We are grateful to God for the strength, for the health, and for the opportunity to serve our community. And I think that's it. I want to say amen now.
Say that Marilyn is a self-starter, I guess, and she is able to work with people and get people to work with each other, and I think that's a lot of the secret to success. That it's you can. One person alone can get something started, but you have to have cooperation to bring it to fruition. You're my hero.
Take some pictures in a bit. You can, but we won't make you. We won't make you open it up in case you don't like it. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Now's the time you get to go out and mingle, have something to eat, stick around, ask questions, and have some fun. Thank you all for coming.